Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the Unnamed Games podcast, as we're still calling it, because none of us are original enough to come up with a better idea. I am Chris Ratley. I am taking on this week's chair position. We've got Craig Indiana Bond Lata on a week off because he's a lightweight and can't hack. But joining me tonight, we've got the usual crew and a guest. But before we introduce everyone, I'd like to take a quick second to say, whatever your favourite podcast location may be, whether that's Apple Music or you listen to us on SoundCloud or YouTube, don't forget to give us a subscribe so you know when each new episode's coming out, so you don't miss out on all of our wonderful voices giving you all the latest news, because we know that is obviously the highlight of your week, and that's why you're here. So, as going back to who's with me today, I've got Phil Speed Freak with me today. I've got Alan Longfangs with me today, and then joining me today, I've got, for a special guest, Jules, aka ODO808. Introduce yourself, guys. Say hello.
Well, I'll go first. Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. It's Friday, and I'm a very happy man.
Cool. It's Phil here, and yeah, I'm good as well. Thanks for that quick intro there. Ready and raring for another exciting podcast.
And my name is Jules. I'm a day at 808, and Friday is here. Let's have some fun.
Cool. Jules, you're new to us, so we're going to ask you to go through our small initiation that we all had to do because of the wonderful man that is Craig decided to come up with a torture method for us. So if you just be so kind as to give us a little bit of background, and then we could have your favourite game, your favourite movie, and your favourite TV show, please.
Okay, so my favourite game probably is it's actually a really old game. It's called Moonstone, and it was on the Commodore Amiga. I do believe it was 500. Commodore Amiga, does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, an Amiga, man.
Yeah, Commodore Amiga. Yeah, and it was a very, very old game, but it was a kind of side-scrolling game. It was knights, and it was a really wide open map. Basically, it was kind of one of the first kind of games that had this kind of in it. It was and it was quite awe-inspiring, to be quite honest, to open up a giant map like that, and you could go practically anywhere and fight zombies and lions and stuff like that. I would probably say my favourite film is probably Big Trouble in Little China.
Choice.
Which is, yes, I know, because it's got mysticism and kung fu in it. So what's not to like about it, right? And it's also done by John Carpenter, stars Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, so on and so forth.
Awesome.
Two girls with green eyes.
Yeah,
that's one of the quotes. Brilliant movie. And also, so what was it that?
Favorite TV show. TV show, my good man.
You know what? That's a really tough one, man, because TV show wise, I recently or overall,
whatever you feel, man. Whatever you feel is your go-to.
Do you know what? The A-Team.
I ain't getting on no plane.
I ain't getting on no plane, boo! that stuff is of legends. But having said that, I would probably say A-Team from back then. But nowadays, up to the present time, I've been watching a lot of Westworld. Actually, is really, really good.
Yeah.
The original film starred Yul Brynner. When I watched that as a kid, and I saw the guy, Yul Brynner come out, and he had like metal in his face, basically. I was hooked from that point onwards, and that's why Cyberpunk 2077, when that comes out, oh my god, I've had that on my phone. I've had the screensaver on my phone for like 4 years, man.
I think everyone who saw Cyberpunk has got it on their phone as like their most anticipated game. Like, at the minute. It feels like the world is like more.
Oh no,
than anything.
Definitely. But I've literally had that because I remember growing up and playing games like Syndicate. You remember the original Syndicate where it was top down? You had and you could get like a team of like 20, 30, 40 agents basically, and they would just go and attack a building with Uzis to just kill everything in its path.
Yeah, that was an old like point and click game, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it was carnage, but it was clear. It was positive. I say positive fun. We were killing a lot of people. Maybe it's not that positive. It was destructive and highly violent. But whatever.
I can remember Syndicate. My outstanding memory of Syndicate is probably the flamethrower, where you'd set someone on fire and then they'd go running into
Yes.
and they'd set other people on fire. As horrible as that sounds, it's a highlight for me.
That's just a fun Sunday afternoon, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, good wholesome fun as
people on
Jules was
fire.
saying. Yeah, who doesn't want to see
Alan,
people on
you're
fire?
not visiting any weekends anymore.
I haven't burnt anybody recently, Phil. I don't know what you're talking about.
I actually remember doing that in. I think it was Deus Ex, the first Deus Ex. When you were in, it's at the start of the game when you get past I can't remember the Statue of Liberty. That's the first mission, and I think you're in the slums in the second mission. And I remember walking, and I was like, "Wow, physics and stuff is all involved in this game." So what I did was I got a load of bin bags and stacked them up in a corner and set them on fire.
Why not?
Because it's fun.
So what we've learned is we're all slightly pyromaniac inclined. And
Alan can't visit us on weekends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Alan's on some blacklist. Yep.
Yes, that's on the blacklist.
So from that, let's take a nice segue into the news, and I think talking about things being hot and catching fire, there was a bit of news this week that caught my eye about the Xbox Series X apparently being super hot and being having overheating issues. So it appeared to be quickly debunked by a few people and sort of being told as fake news, but I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts on this. Is anyone actually concerned about this? Is anyone think? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Alan first and foremost and see what he has to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, the expression that you just used is one that I absolutely revile, but it kind of describes this situation, which is fake news. I mean. I know we've had heating issues with previous Xboxes, and some commentators have said some things about how the console is hot to the touch and how the SSD card, once removed, is hot. In fact, one particular commenter made the assertion that the podcast guy who took the SSD out of the Series X actually burnt his hand, which, it's complete cobblers. It's absolute nonsense. It's fake news because the guy, I've watched it, the guy didn't. He was holding something that had been in a very hot piece of electronic equipment. And what amazes me is in this day and age that people can just immediately latch onto a story like this without doing some basic understanding. And you guys know better than anybody else, I am not technically minded. When it comes to the group in this podcast, I am the least technically minded. When you start talking about HDMI and, fancy technical tools, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about half the time. I have to get Craig to come in and plug in my TV some days. But I do know that electronics run hot. Some chips do. If I put my hand by my Xbox One right now, my One X, it's hot. But that's how electronics work. They get hot, and then the fan, which is there, which is also silent, by the way, on both the PS5 and the Xbox, that's the reports I've heard, and the heat is being pushed out the back of the machine. That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
Because if it didn't, sorry, Jules, can I just finish? If it didn't get pushed from the machine, then all the components would fry. That's how electronics work. It's a ridiculous story, and it's just fear-mongering.
It feels like. So, I mean, I see that Phil has got something he wants to add to this. So I'm just going to quickly shoot over to Phil and see what he has to say for himself.
Yeah, so again, much like Alan, I saw that review and thought, that sounds a little bit fishy to me. I think this has been blown out of proportion. And I did a bit of research as well. And in particular, from the research I did, what the people that had reviewed it said was that there was a lot of heat exhausting out the top of it, where the fan is, but the actual console was cool to the touch.
Yeah.
So the actual box itself, it was cool on the outside. It was just exhausting heat out the top of it.
Kind of as you'd expect.
Yeah, and particularly as a PC gamer as well, I know my PC pushes out a lot of heat. I mean, my graphics card's running, 75 degrees when it's on full load on a game. Mm-hmm. The processor's probably up somewhere around about 85, 90, because the cooling's not great on it. But, I mean, it's been doing that for 4 years. All it does is game, and it games on full specs. It exhausts a lot of heat. And I think it's just the same with this Xbox, They're still refining, the cooling fan curve and things like that. So they've gone for particularly quiet, but you may find that they adjust that with firmware to increase the fan speed. But it's realistically, as Alan said, these components get hot. The heat has to be exhausted.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
cool.
what we're seeing,
Yeah, I think it's very true. So, Jules, you wanted to jump in a little earlier. Sorry we cut you off, mate. Do you want to just give us your 10 cents?
Yeah, I was going to say it's not necessarily a bad thing when it's expelling a lot of heat, is it? So it's clearly doing its job.
Yeah,
It's yeah. So the console's unique design is designed that way. So it's
yeah,
even if it's in standby mode, it's still going to expel that heat because, like Alan clearly stated, it's an electronic device. It's going to
yeah.
generate heat, isn't it? So
Hmm.
I just think a lot of people they kind of blow it out of proportion. A lot of those people, you know, company espionage, all that kind of stuff. I guess when you try to I know slate another device or whatever, it's one of those things, isn't it? So
I mean, yeah, I think it's very true. Like, there's a lot of I think there was a little bit of, I don't know if you guys saw this as well, but a little bit of fanboyism going on as well. Like, I know that there was obviously like the most of the bad press I saw was coming from people trying to twist words of the people who'd had it. Like, I saw one, it was one, and I hate to say it, but there was a bit of fanboyism from some of the Sony guys going, "Oh, this thing is running hot. Look, this guy said it gets hot," and totally took words out of context to twist it to a narrative to fit them, which is a bit of a shame because you've got nice hardware being produced on both sides, and seeing positivity coming out of a lot of the sides of the minute, and there's still people who insist on fueling this narrative that it can't be good because of this, that, and the other, and it just seemed a bit silly to me. I don't know, and going knowing what Microsoft have been doing. I mean, I saw one influencer or a reviewer, I can't remember who now, a few months back, talking about the process Microsoft went through with testing, heat resistance. They put them in like special ovens and stuff to raise the temperature artificially to make sure they don't overheat. So I thought, as soon as I heard it, this seems a bit fishy to me, and then doing like you said, Phil, doing a bit more reading, it was exactly that. Anything else anyone wants to add to that? Alan, you got anything to say? Or
no, I think it's just a shame, really. I think it's a shame that some of these influencers or commentators, whatever you want to call them, can get away with deliberately twisting podcasts or things that people have said to generate a headline. And I don't know whether there is any malicious intent. I honestly don't know whether it's coming from the toxic PS5 fanboy base. I'm not saying there isn't one on the Xbox side, but I'm saying exactly. But there is some some that they're more than happy to put down, what they believe to be their direct competition at any opportunity. But it's just, some of these quotes that, and these articles are deliberately twisting and changing the wording that's been used in these particular instances to make it sound like there's an issue when there isn't one. And surely there should be some sort of repercussions for that. I think it's a bigger issue than just games.
I mean, I know we're not like the be all and end all of reporting media, considering we do a podcast once a week, and we can talk ourselves about being this out there. But I do wonder sometimes if a lot of this stuff is literally just clickbait to get ad revenue, etc., on websites, if you know what I mean. So maybe that's a discussion for another week, though, boys. Let's not go down that rabbit hole today, hey? But maybe we could talk about that at some point if we feel it's getting out of hand. I mean, I know it's obviously everyone wants clicks at the minute, but anyway. Should we move on to our next bit of news we saw today? Obviously, one of the other big things that happened this week in the gaming side of things was the PS5 got a full teardown from Sony, which was quite an interesting watch, I thought. So I was just wondering if anybody has anything they'd like to bring to the table on that. We'll go to Jules first and foremost. Jules, did you have a look at that Sony video?
I didn't actually look at the Sony video, no.
Terrible.
Because I was too busy playing my Sony. That's why I was too busy playing Days Gone.
Fair enough.
Which it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's like I've got a PS4 Pro, and I've got an Xbox Series X as well. And I'm not a fanboy.
He's got a Series X. Everyone around to his house, quick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not serious. I'm so confused right now. X Series X, X1, Xbox One, One X, and like a lot of parents recently bought the wrong consoles.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, wasn't you by any chance, was it?
I'm good, mate. Don't worry.
Okay, but it's just like I know a lot of the graphics on both. They're very they're really, really good, and it's hard to find a kind of happy medium between the two.
Yeah,
but it's like I said, I've grown up with all consoles, so it's kind of
yeah. Keep it busy, but you were too busy playing to be caring about what it looks like inside of the machine, is what you're saying.
Pretty much, the hardware's there. It does what it does. It's ultimately you can geek out of consoles left, right, and centre, but what you see is what you get. So it's
I think
kind of like
it's an interesting thing, because I think all of us pay close attention to that, and it's interesting to have someone who's maybe not as monitoring to just go, what does it matter? It's a very real, I think, a very, very real view of that. But moving on, let's see. Phil, did you ever watch the video, mate? Did you see anything?
No, I didn't watch it either. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I did. I really enjoyed the teardown. I mean, firstly, good lord, that thing's huge. I mean, I have a sizable AV, let's call it space, and I don't know where that thing's going to go when I eventually buy one next year. I will say, I mean, clearly all of the space in that thing is for the cooling. I mean, the amount of metal in there for cooling was ridiculous. Because you've seen the teardown of the Series X, and they split that up, and it's got a cooling block on the left and a fan on the top.
Yeah.
But that PlayStation, it's got a really thin, quite wide circuit board that covers the large kind of majority of the actual interior of the case, and then it's literally 2 inches of just cooling blocks. It's crazy, man. And then there's 2 big fans at the top as well, which I'm guessing they're kind of push and pull to suck air in one side and blow it out the other. That's kind of the way the design looked to me. But yeah,
I think what I was amazed about, and we'll talk about it amazed me how essentially the Xbox and the PlayStation have the same basic, they do the same thing, but the 2 massively different approaches to building these boxes was crazy.
Yeah, it's a completely different kind of the Xbox is almost very kind of stacked on top of itself, isn't it? It's everything's in a specific place at an angle, and it's kind of compacted in, all with the sort of idea of airflow basically coming through the bottom and going out the top. And the PlayStation's kind of gone the other way. They've got the fans on sideways, so it's kind of either sucking left to right or right to left, and then the circuit board's very flat and very spread out, and the components are very far apart. It's not a compact circuit board at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, kind of like Jules said, actually, you know what? Once we actually get hold of these things, they're going to look great, and it's probably not going to make a whole lot of difference to most people.
Yeah. Alan, what about you? Did you ever watch that video? Check it out.
Oh, I might have done. I've got 2 key points. The first one is I'm shocked, and I really do feel for Sony PlayStation 5 that they have to remove a screw from the bottom to change the stand from the bottom to the side. I mean, facetiousness aside, I'd also like to say that how much money are you paying for this PlayStation 5? And they've designed this amazing piece of kit. And when they came to the bottom stand, they thought, you know what, we could design a nice integration system where it clicks into the bottom and onto the side. That'd be really clever and really. Actually, let's save some money. Let's just put a screw in it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's real next gen. Nice work, guys. But that's just me being.
If we're fair to them, and they did at least put a spot in the bottom where you could store the screw, when you're not using it.
And that's quite. I have to admit that is quite neat. I mean, having the screw in the first place seems to me to be completely redundant, but actually having a nice little hole that you can kind of sneak it away and keep it safe. I'm always losing screws, so I appreciate that. That's good thinking. But but that aside, I have to say that considering, and we've already talked about the heat, considering how much space in both next generation consoles the fan takes up, it's amazing to hear that both consoles run silently. I don't know anything about the motherboard or all the other gubbins that goes on in there. I couldn't cite you. I think is it 12 teraflops for the Xbox? I think it is. Could be.
Yeah.
I'm sure I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, spot on, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, man. But I can see the size of the fans, and they have to be because of the massive heat that is being generated. And yet, both of these consoles are supposedly being reported as being silent. That's an amazing piece of craftsmanship, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. But I mean, seeing somebody take something apart, I mean, it was interesting, but I would have preferred a sledgehammer.
Stick some fireworks in it and see how it comes apart. Yeah,
make it a bit more exciting. Maybe a small firework shoved in one of the grills. Just to see how the PS5 performs.
Then you can set it on fire afterwards, Alan, as well, if you like.
Jump up and down on it, right? with a grimaced face.
What we do is become toxic Xbox fanboys, and we set it on fire and claim there's an overheating issue. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah,
and then we get some clicks, and it will all work like that.
Put it on a bonfire. PlayStation bursts into flames, and forget to mention that we put it on the fire.
Unexpectedly bursts into flames when we throw it on a fire. Yeah, But there you go. So yeah, I mean, I thought overall I had a quick watch of it, and I have to say, it was like yourself. I was a bit surprised at the size of it. It's a big machine. There's no getting around that. But I think I like the. Hey, See what you did there. I like the removable sides. I thought that was a really cool touch. There's potential to do some really cool customization, I think, there for people buying these consoles that could be, maybe Sony's answer to limited edition consoles is we just have these click on the sides and you can change them up. Maybe, I don't know. Could be quite fun though. Maybe that'll bring on a whole new market of customized fins for your PlayStation 5, and that fabled black one that everyone keeps asking about will suddenly appear. But yeah, I mean, I think, excuse me, I think it looks like a good machine.
Sorry, Nintendo did. They had the RAM upgrades on N64s.
Yeah,
do you remember those? Where you put the chip in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those Nintendo is one of those companies that really pioneered a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Nintendo are responsible for so much of what we see today, aren't they? They're responsible for games consoles today because Atari basically buried games consoles and then Nintendo revived them, didn't they? Essentially, the NES is, to be blamed for all of this.
And you also had Nintendo's gold seal of approval. Can you remember when they actually made games that worked when they come out?
Oh, let's not get into that one.
What idea?
That's a whole nother
idea. Let's put a game out that works and people can use it straight away, and it works continuously.
Well, maybe a subject for another night is that kind of thing. So, final piece of news for this evening, gentlemen. Just going to see what you guys think of this. We had some news which I thought was really interesting from Microsoft on the Xbox Series X/S and the ability to apparently uninstall selected parts of games once you were finished with them. So I was wondering how you guys felt like this. Maybe it was something as we've got like limited storage and it's going to be quite expensive in the next generation by the looks of things to upgrade your storage with these SSDs. This is potentially something which could help with the smaller storage on the Series S, but with also the announcement of Game Pass becoming streaming maybe at some point in the future, I wonder, do you think Microsoft are looking at a big picture of keeping the cost of storage down to maybe enable you to just stream games directly from the cloud on your console, or just be able to just chop out massive parts of the games that aren't needed? So we go back to that point again of reducing the install size of your games. What do you guys think to this? Anyone got anything?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sure, especially in the early days of the console release, how much impact this is going to have. I mean, don't get me wrong. We discussed last week the high cost of the SSD. I say high cost; it's relative to what it is, but it is still a lot of money when you consider that you're buying that for £220.
Yeah, £219.
Yeah. So and the Series S is what, £250. So you can buy a whole entire console. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got a 500 gigabyte drive, not a 1 terabyte, but still, that's pretty phenomenal. You're talking about a £30 difference between a hard drive and that. But, upon saying that, I don't think it's going to have that big an impact with this sort of game being able to say, for example, something like Call of Duty, where you can, I just want to play the multiplayer, so I've finished the story campaign, so I'll take that off my hard drive. I think as we move further down the road, I think it will have an impact on some of these bigger games, but I can't see how much. So you look at Red Dead Redemption, if you don't want to play the multiplayer, you can not install that or uninstall that, but you're still going to have an absolutely massive core game. And I think a lot of games like the Cyberpunk, that's going to have a massive amount of, going to take up space, and you get these massive AAA titles and they're going to fill up your hard drive. I'm not sure how much this, being able to uninstall sections of the game, how much of an impact that's really going to have and how many games that's actually going to affect. I think the proof will be in the pudding when we start seeing new games coming out for the next generation, and whether that has a marked impact on your space, but I don't think for a while we'll see any sort of impact as far as I can see.
Well, how about you, Phil? You got anything you want to add to that one?
So yeah, I can see them very much doing the Call of Duty approach, where the multiplayer is a separate entity to the campaign, and working on the premise that I'm going to play through the campaign. Okay, I enjoyed the campaign. Now I'm going to dip into the multiplayer. Let's uninstall the campaign and carry on with that. I think if they start segmenting games too much after that, I think that could start being a problem. Yeah. You guys all played Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah. No.
I don't know if I ever played that one, to be fair.
Okay, Metal Gear Solid 4, Sons of the Patriots. Brilliant game, loved it. Still looks great to this day. Had its campaign split into, I believe, 3 sections. So you would play through the kind of first part of the campaign, and then what you'd have to do is you'd have to pop the disc in, or it would have to load and install the next part of the campaign from the disc.
Right.
And then you play through that part, get to the third part, it would then have an install period. And it was anywhere between sort of 5 and 10 minutes for it to install each part of the campaign.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have that kind of break in between. But then if you suddenly wanted to change save file, you'd then have to reinstall the first part of the game to go and play that, and then reinstall the third part of the game to go to that.
I'll tell you what, Phil, I just want to quickly say, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is bringing me flashbacks of playing Baldur's Gate when it first came out. I think that
I can't do that right now.
discs, 8 discs that damn thing had, and I had to keep changing it. You go between 2 areas that were on different discs, and you were continuously swapping your discs in and out. It's a nightmare. But anyway, sorry, Phil, carry on.
Right now.
Yeah, and I think that's I worry that could be the future. I can't see them doing that. Like, that's just such a inept way of doing a game. Like, it's great. Maybe, you play through the first part of the campaign, then you can uninstall it if you have no intention going back to it. But I can't see them splitting up the main campaign.
So what about though, talking about with them saying about console streaming coming to Game Pass in the future? So if it's a Game Pass title, for example, I like the idea of you can install it all and play it locally. It might be pie in the sky for all I know, but the idea that maybe you do like you said, the first 2 missions and it just, you can delete them from your hard drive. But if you want to go back, you've got the option to either just reinstall it or play it straight from the cloud, and it will use your save files. So that's a certain thing I could see them maybe working with. That you only have to have core components installed on your machine, and then everything else can be streamed directly from the internet using Game Pass. Maybe that's something they can do in future. Maybe that's where we'll go with this. Who knows? I mean, that's something which I sort of read was maybe you don't have to leave them on there if you've got limited space, but you want to be able to experience them. You can jump back in via the cloud, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, Phil, go on.
I think that's, quite feasible. It's just not in the current climate with the state of the broadband as it is, Yeah,
I think we're a little way from it.
Not enough people have a fast enough connection. So that could be like for whatever the next Xbox is maybe, but I think it's probably a little bit pie in the sky at the moment.
Well, it could be something which will come along, and you can use it if you've got the speed for. Maybe, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens like that. You can't access it if you're not teched up, but once you've got it, you're away. But we'll see how that pans out. But it's just a thought. I thought maybe. Jules, did you have anything to think about and add on to that one?
Not really, mate, to be honest.
Well, fair enough, man. If you've got nothing to add, I'll be honest.
I'm going to cut it short there, mate, all right?
Yeah, if you're good with not adding anything on that, man, if you've got nothing to say, there's no point just waffling on with nothing, is there? So, yeah,
exactly.
If everyone's happy with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back with a small talking point. So, enjoy, people. See you soon.
Well, here it is, the most eagerly awaited arcade game of the year. The brand new Star Wars. Sound familiar? Let's check out the action.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. Well, here we are in the wonderful world of the podcast, the Unnamed Games podcast, and we still can't come up with a better name than that. We've got to work on this, boys. We've got to work on this. But our talking point for this week, I discovered on my troop travels around the stores, I discovered a company called Arcade 1UP who make licensed arcade cabinets for your home. They're 3/4 size. They have a game on and you plug them in and away you go. And I saw a game that I played in the arcades as a child, which was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. I'm sure we've all played it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. A 4-player cabinet with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on. I need that in my life.
Cowabunga.
Responsible adult that I am, I have purchased said cabinet to build and put in like a games room. But it got me thinking, like when we grew up as gamers, because we're all of a certain age, we all played in arcades. I'm sure all of us put tons of 50p's and 10p's into arcade machines to get those credits and play, whether that was Final Fight or Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, whatever it was. And it sort of got me thinking that was where I found a lot of my feet in gaming, what I found games that I enjoyed. It was a very social experience, like Street Fighter cabinets having these winner stays on type tournaments, etc., and how long could you be on the cabinet for, etc. And it got me thinking, is it something that which gaming is missing nowadays, to have these arcades, and these big marquee releases that people get? Do you think it's something that modern gamers would want? These people who've grown up with Xbox and PlayStation, do you feel like it's something they're missing out on? And it's sort of me wondering. So what do you guys think on this? So let's start with Alan. Alan, give us some news.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love the cabinets. I think they're fantastic. Although I have to say, I'm not much of a retro gamer. I have immensely fond memories for many retro games. But when I first started playing, 36 years ago, playing computer games, as I said before, on like the Spectrum. We didn't know where we were going to go with this new medium that it was storytelling, but you could actually play it and interact with it. And the dream for me, being an RPG fan, Dungeons and Dragons and all that, was to one day have a computer game. It was the thing of dreams, the thing that you could never envision happening 30 years ago, to have a game where you were, where you had a character in a world, open world. And we have that now. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that things have changed. There are a lot of things that have changed. So you have things like in these open world games like Assassin's Creed, where, you die and then you just respawn a few seconds later after your last save and there's no harm. But that just makes that game more accessible for a broader audience. And it's just a different way of playing. I don't think we've lost the type of games. When you talk about, look, maybe back at the cabinets where some of them were much harder because the whole idea was to get you putting coins in, and keep putting more coins in and more until you got good enough that you were pro and that you could put 10p in and play for all evening. Those sorts of games are still out there. They're still out there. We're looking at Cuphead, Dark Souls. They might have a different sheen on them and better graphics, but they are fundamentally the same core game. And when we come to things like, I'd say the sociability side of things, you'd go down the arcade to play with your mates, and as you said, you'd all stand around the console and that sort of thing. That's still there as well. It's just changed. We now have e-tournaments. We have online playing where you don't need to be sat in the same room. You can see and talk to your friends while sat in the comfort. I don't see that we've lost anything integral from those original those days that were setting the stage for the gaming we have today. I just think things have changed, some for the better. Fair
point, man.
And overall, I don't think it's any different. There's just a lot more choice.
Yeah, I think I can see where you're coming from. I think with me, like, one thing I miss is that standing shoulder to shoulder playing co-op with some buddies on a game like Gauntlet or Turtles in particular.
Oh, Gauntlet!
Memory of Turtles of playing four of us on a cabinet as quite young kids.
Yeah,
and just really just hammering we'd saved our money to go play Turtles because we were going to complete it. And I totally get what you're saying. Like, those experiences have moved into different. They're the same but different, shall we say? Co-op, etc.
I just remember my last holiday with my parents. I was 14 years old, and they dragged the whole family off to they used to be holiday camps. I don't even know if they exist anymore. So Butlins holiday camp in Pwllheli. You don't need to know that, but I'm just setting some context here. And I'm 14 years old, and I've been saving up for my pocket money for the better part of 6 months. And we go to this holiday camp, and the first thing I find, of course, is the arcade. And within 3 hours, I've spent the 6 months worth of savings that I've been saving up for on a little game called Super Sprint. And I am absolutely obsessed with this game. You remember Super Sprint?
I can remember Super Sprint.
And I went to my mother with the doe eyes, and I said, I've spent all my money, and she went, well, that's tough. That means you won't have any money for the rest of the week. And I was very downtrodden. So I went traipsing back to the arcade, thinking to myself, well, if I can't play them, I can at least watch other people play them. That's something, being a hardcore gamer even at that age. And there was some guy there. He was probably not that much older than me, but being 14, he seemed a lot older. But he had money, and he was obsessed by Super Sprint, and he clearly didn't want to pay on his own. So he ended up paying for me to play with him for the entire week. Best holiday I've ever had. Thank you to that anonymous man. I don't know who you are, but you made me my best holiday at the age of 14. Thanks, dude.
What a legend! What a legend. So, Jules, you had Alan's story seemed to touch you quite a lot there. You found that quite amusing. Anything you want to share on the subject, my man?
As far as arcade cabinets and stuff go, obviously Golden Axe is one of the originals. Yes. I do remember, though. Can you remember Aliens?
We had several Aliens games, man. Which one do you mean?
Yeah, it was. That's very good.
The arcade game was the side scroller. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, no, there was a side scroller, but it kind of switched in to where you had the guns as well, because you had the joysticks and the guns.
Yeah. So there was
So when you had the APC going out, you got on top of the gun. You would basically guns.
Yeah.
Wasn't Colonial Marines, was it?
All of it. Yeah,
But yeah, it's I remember fondly of going into arcades and and rinsing my wallet dry, and then being like, oh, I've got no money left.
Yeah.
Which was fun because it made me the person I am today.
Still with no money,
Broke and still playing games. Oh my god! Why me?
Well, Phil, is there anything you want to bring to the table on the great arcade debate?
The great arcade debate. I like that. You can fit that somewhere in the title of this podcast. For me, the one that always sticks with me is Time Crisis.
Yeah.
God, how I spent many pounds on Time Crisis because I think it was £1 a go. It's just because it had the physical gun.
Yeah.
That was what set the arcades aside from playing at home on my Commodore 64 or my Amiga 1200, which I think you could get guns for. But it was having that extra like interaction that you just couldn't get from games at home. And earlier you asked, do I think that games are missing that sort of thing now? And I kind of like, I think we're in a time where almost we're slightly heading back into that world. So like, there isn't that much in the way of accessories that interact outside, aside from basically anything Nintendo makes, because they don't like controllers. It's got to be a remote, or it's got to be a fit board, or it's got to be a pair of skis, or something like that. It's just the Nintendo way. But I mean, for me personally, like very recently, I bought a VR headset.
Yes,
and I feel like that's kind of the new arcade. Like you put it on, then you've got like the hand. Controllers, and then that hand controllers, it's a sword in one game, and then all of a sudden it's the pulse rifle from Aliens in the next one, and then the third one I'm getting the crap scared out of me by a face hugger on a Half-Life Alyx. And I think actually it's like almost this kind of VR sort of aspect to it is actually bringing back what I used to love about the arcades. So particularly I used to love going there with friends. I used to love the guns and the interaction. I feel like I'm starting to get that back by playing in VR now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think like controllers for all the things they've allowed us to do have become also quite stagnant in that they are quite limiting. We don't have that interaction like you're saying that there's a certain connection of fantasy when if you're playing like back in the day there was a game called Operation Wolf. I don't know if anyone remembers Operation Wolf, but it had like a full size Uzi replica on the cabinet, and that was your controller. It was obviously a light gun shooting game. On the front of that was a little red button which fired grenades, which is the most ridiculous thing for an Uzi to do. But that game, like, I remember seeing the Operation Wolf cabinet and it had this gun on it. And I was like, I just want to fire that gun. Like, makes me sound like a complete psychopath, I'm fully aware. But, there was that, it was a step up from, as you said, sitting at home on my Amiga, my Specky at the time, or my Amiga probably as well, to be fair, and going, I've got a joystick with a trigger. It's like, that's got a whole gun on it. Like, I want that. And why haven't I got that at home? So, yeah, I totally get that immersion piece, that thing of like, it's a more experiential thing, isn't it? It's not just I'm sitting here.
It's a physical thing, isn't it? So,
a connection.
It's a physical, a dimension to it, as opposed to something that is a visual aspect. It's something you can physically relate to.
Yeah, and I think with Time Crisis, the pedal as well, Phil, would you remember the pedal thing?
Yes, the pedal for reloading, wasn't it?
I sucked at that game so much, man, because it took me forever to figure out how the pedal worked.
I spent a small fortune getting better at it, and let's be honest, I was still crap, because I was probably like 10 when I was playing it, and but it was just cool.
You had fun.
Like I said, I had fun. I used to love playing it with my mates. Particularly like, you always used to find it in bowling alleys.
Yeah.
Always in bowling alleys for some reason. That and giant Pac-Man machines.
And air hockey.
Air hockey, yeah.
And air hockey, yeah.
So I don't know, Chris, whether you were going to ask this question, so I want to jump in, but I'm curious because this console that you've ordered, I'm assuming that's got turtles on it, right?
So yeah, I bought the turtles one. I mean, I looked at them. Yeah. There were several that I as much as like I think there are certain games which everyone's different when it comes to games. As you said, you're an RPG player, and then like whenever I mentioned arcade cabs, people and my friends started looking at them, and almost all of them went, "Oh my god, there's a Mortal Kombat cab," or "Oh my god, there's a Street Fighter cab," and I was just like,
exactly. So
using the turtles one, I only give a monkeys about the turtles one, and I know that part of that, and a big part of that, is that I was a huge Turtles fan as a kid because let's face it, they're the coolest, and equally the other part of that was, again, you go back to those great memories you've got of being in an arcade, like you were saying about your holiday, where a guy just like allowed you, paid for you to play Super Sprint for the holiday. I once went on a camp when I was in the Scouts with some, with a load of friends, and we knew we were going to the beach day for the last day of our camp, and we all knew the arcades were there, and we'd all been saving our money for the arcade day because all of us were in agreement that we all wanted to beat the Turtles game in the arcade, and like we all went in there and like just pumped all these quids into the Turtles game, all four of us, with our respect, and we'd all bagsied our turtle before we got to the arcade. So we ran in, I ran in to find the machine. We all gathered up, started chucking in money, and just started playing the Turtles game. We did beat it, and it was so cool to have beaten it in the arcade. It was like such an achievement, like at the time.
I'm curious about. Sorry, carry on. I'm just curious about how much money we probably spent in our lifetime. It's a lot, but I'm just curious if everybody else here, what arcade cabinet would you order with what retro game?
That was what my next question was going to be to you guys. Strikingly, was if you could have any one arcade machine, and I mean you could have anything. You could have, which is total thing. So if you said, I want the original Gauntlet cab, or I want the original this, whatever it is, whatever cab it is, what would you have and why?
Okay, so I would have a game. It was a Japanese import, actually, but it was a game called Probe Detector. I don't know if you guys know what Probe Detector is.
Did you say Probe Detector?
Probe Detector, not a probe detector, Alan. Okay.
I don't know what game you were playing, Jules, but it doesn't sound like an arcade game.
It was a Probe Detector, so it was basically a side scroller. It was much like Gundam Wing, if you know what that is. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what that is, they're giant robots anyway, with guns. It went from like a side scroller to like a top down, which was pretty good.
Cool, yeah. Okay. What about Alan? If you could pick one cab, what would you have, mate?
It's a tough question because, as I said, I'm not really a retro gamer. And if I obviously, most of the games that I absolutely love are kind of this generation or the past couple of generations. But I do have a lot of arcade games that I have especially fond memories about. Obviously, the Super Spoon that I've mentioned. Yep. Gauntlet was like the first RPG type game, and you could play it with 3 other people. It was just epic. But if I had to choose one that I would play again and again and I would never get bored of, I'm going to have to go back to one of the classics. Possibly Defender or possibly Asteroids.
Ooh,
those games, I spent so many hours on those as a kid, and I would spend many hours on them right now. Yep. They're just fun.
Yeah, so I can see some classic arcade play there, and definitely one you can get a lot of play out of. How about Phil? What about yourself, man?
I think I'd have to get Time Crisis, to be honest with you. It's the one that has the happiest memories for me, and it's just it had something that I couldn't get at home. And, even now, it's
gun?
Can't quite. No, I have a gun. It's under my bed, Alan. Don't break in. Right next to the wooden sword I sleep next to for beating people over.
And you like to hold it up at night and do a Charlie's Angels post. I've seen the pictures, Phil.
They were just for you, Alan. That's why I wore my pink boxer shorts.
So I feel special inside. Thank you, Phil.
Some crisis here, boys.
Yeah, it would. It genuinely be. Time Crisis is the one that sticks with me. It's the one that I remember. It's the one that I spent my money on, and it's the one I'd want to have in my games room to go back to and play. Totally. And just to watch you struggle trying to play at Ratley.
It honestly, I was disastrously bad at that game. It would be hilarious, So, and I'm going to go with my shout for this one. As much as I've sort of sung the praises of the Turtles game, and so everything, there was one arcade machine that, as a kid, it was the machine that like certified me as like a guy who was into gaming more than anything else and things, and that was the original Atari Star Wars arcade cab, the full enclosed cab. I remember sitting down. One of my earliest memories of video games is we used to go again, like yourself, Alan. We used to go to a family holiday to one of these, holiday day, whatever they're called, like Butlins or whatever. It was actually Yarmouth Way, a place called Corton Beach. It was, and they had the Star Wars sit down arcade cab when it was really new, and I just remember just pouring money into the thing, and I thought for like an 8-year-old kid, I got pretty good at it, and I'll never forget, like you said, a bigger kid showed up and just like he was godlike on it. But I spent so much money on that cab, and I would kill tying one of them. But
it's the feeling that they give you, isn't it? That Star Wars game, when you came and did the Death Star run, I mean, the music's pumping out, man. I mean, there's, it's just, as a child, that just fills you with this euphoria. You know, it's like you're in the movie. That thing was phenomenal.
I watched some videos on it recently because this whole arcade thing came up, and I was watching people play it, and I was just like, holy crap, I want that back in my life. That is such a good game, and it's got the most basic graphics, just wireframe vector graphics. And there isn't a single thing about it that I don't care. And it is repeat the same thing ad nauseum. You just keep doing the same thing again. But I was like, I don't care. I just want to play that game again. And, I saw that Arcade 1-Up make a sit-down cab for it, but it's only available in the States. So I was heartbroken to find out I couldn't get it at this point. I am going to look into that because I want that bad boy. But, that sort of set me apart. And I was like, those experiences, like, totally sold me on it. Yeah. I mean, it's just something else. But yeah, so I think that's a good place to end our talking point. Once the cabinet's built, guys, you'll have to come round, and once we're COVID safe, of course, you have to come round and we'll have a game of Turtles, and obviously we'll run through it, but it'll be a good laugh.
Might be a bit of a squeeze, but I'm in.
Yep.
Raphael's my guy.
Okay, cool. Phil, who are you?
Donatello.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm always Mikey, so you can. That means Leo gets stuck with us, but we'll work it out, boys. We'll work it out.
That means you've got to bring the pizza, though.
Mate, if you come to my house and if we're going to play Turtles on the arcade machine in my house, and you don't expect there to be pizza, man, you are deluded. Like, there is no way in hell I'm not getting stacks of pizzas for us.
I just expected you to pay for the pizza rather than us all have to chip in.
Mate, I will happily pay for pizza if we're going to have a Turtles night. Let's do that.
Phil, always on the lookout for a freebie.
We'll do Turtles night, pizza, maybe a movie, and some arcade machines. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Right, we're going to take a quick break here, guys, and then we will come back with what we're calling Ratley's Super Duper Quiz. So enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon. Hello, and welcome back to the Unnamed Games Podcast. As we have lost our illustrious leader this week, I've taken the reins for a quiz. In fact, it's my turn, I guess. Everyone else has done one. So I'm going to set this one out and be the quiz master. And I'm calling this Ratley's Stupid Quiz type thing. So there.
Excellent.
Catchy title, I think. Don't you agree, boys?
At least you don't have to worry about losing this one, Chris.
Yeah, this is true, mate. Well, I've hopefully got enough. This is general nerdy stuff, films, games, etc. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys do. So we're gonna, is everyone ready? These aren't going to be buzzer questions. There will be some multiple choice, and there will be some closest to the money is what gets you the points. So we're just going to score a sensible scoring system of 1 point per correct answer. So I need someone.
Mate.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and keep score here because I'm not the most prepared. Right. So we've got Alan, and we've got Jules.
Just limbering up, ready for the quiz.
You ready for this then? You ready for this? All these exciting questions you're going to get?
Bring it on!
Bring it on! Right, so...
Let me just drink some blueberries first. Hold on. We're good to go.
Okay, he's good. Phil, is there anything you need to do in prep?
I've just finished scratching, so I'm good.
Yeah, okay, cool, right. So, I'm just trying to think how we're going to go through this one. It's the first one. Right, so... We'll go through. Everyone, give me an answer, and then we'll see if anyone gets a correct. So it's 1 point, and there's multiple correct answers on this one, but 1 point for a correct answer. You only need to get one of them. Okay. So here we go, boys. Eyes down. In Aliens, everyone gets introduced to the M41A pulse rifle, but can you name any of the other weapons in the Colonial Marines arsenal that appear in the movie? Stop googling it.
Hudson's shotgun. I have no idea. Guns.
Okay, so Alan, let's go with Alan. Go on. Then. Alan's
Chris, I just want to make something clear. I want to clarify something. Sorry. When you talk about the movie Aliens, are you talking about the cinema release or the special edition?
Good question. I will allow answers from either edition, sir.
In which case, I will go for the auto turret in the special edition. Auto turrets.
Auto turret is your answer, Alan. Okay, no worries.
Pulse rifle.
Pulse rifle was one you've already had, so we need a different one to the pulse rifle. So,
I'd say Hudson's Oh, that was
Hudson shotgun. Is that you saying Hudson shotgun?
I was going to say Hudson shotgun. You get that in the game, don't you? I believe. Colonial Marines.
Let's talk about that. And then Phil.
So, there was a flamethrower.
Yes.
And I think he called it was an M200 maybe, flamethrower,
Ooh,
I want to say. Or maybe like an M250.
Ooh, okay, right.
I can't get any more specific than that, but it was an M something in the 200s and it was a flamethrower.
The Babyliss flamethrower.
So here we go. I'm going to give you the auto turret guns are actually called sentry guns. So whilst they are actually exactly as you described them, they are called sentry gun. The M56 smart gun is what Vasquez and Drake use.
Okay.
The M37A2 shot pump shotgun, which is used by Hicks, not Hudson.
Oh, Hicks, there we go. Sorry, yeah.
The Heckler & Koch VP70 pistol, a combat knife, and the M240 flamethrower.
And some very strong language from Ellen Ripley.
What about was the Spaz in it as well? What we talking about? Yeah.
Spaz 12. The Spaz 12 was used in the construction of the pulse rifle as the underslung grenade launcher.
Cool.
That's where you're getting that from.
Remington 870.
I'm going to be super harsh and say that I'm only going to award a point to one person. It's going to be half a point, actually. I'm going to give that to Phil for his flamethrower knowledge. It was very, very, very close to on the money, and I think that deserves a half point, personally. You know,
auto turret, gun turret. I got half the name, Chris.
No, the turret isn't in the name. It's a sentry gun.
It is a sentry gun.
It's a sentry gun. Yeah. Yes. So sorry, Alan, but I'm going to be very harsh on that one. So this one, we're going to go for a closest to the money. Okay. This will be interesting to see if anyone knows this because, I like this question. What time was the clock tower struck by lightning in the original Back to the Future movie? So we'll go with Alan first.
That's a good question. I think it's 12:20.
Okay.
Midnight. 20 past midnight.
20 past midnight. Okay, Phil,
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I think it was like 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Sorry, I think it was 10 p.m.
Okay. 10 p.m. Okay.
That rings a bell.
Okay, Jules. Hello, Jules.
Was it like 10:02 or something like that, or 3, 4, 5?
Can I have? You can't just keep listing numbers.
I'm taking 6 o'clock in the evening till 2 o'clock in the morning.
The whole range in there.
I'd say about 10ish, 10. I'll say 10:02, something like that.
So you think 10:02? Okay, right. Yeah. So the correct time for the clock tower being struck in Back to the Future was 10:04.
Boom, suck it. Ooh, there we go.
Jules gets on the board.
Yeah, that's right. Boom.
Boom.
That's what time's about.
I have only one more thing to say. 1.21 gigawatts.
I was chatting that, and the problem with Back to the Future is the only number anyone can remember is 1.21 gigawatts, right?
Yeah, true.
Only one can remember. So, okay, so this one's going to go through them all again one at a time, boys. So we've got, what is the name of your robot companion in the original Gears of War? We'll start with Phil.
Okay. Oh, Jack, isn't it? Jack.
So Jack, what about you, Jules?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for what Phil. I think. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack. Yeah, I think it's Jack because they just carry it on through, don't they? Jack. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Jack.
Okay, Alan.
I tend to agree with that logic and that line of thinking because we have got a Jack in number 4. I clearly remember that. So my assumption, I don't rightly remember, would be that it would be the same thing. So I'm going to go with the other guys.
Well, the good news, guys, is that is correct. It is indeed Jack. And just to confirm, he isn't the robot you start with in Gears of War 4. He becomes gifted to you when Baird has to repair your original buddy companion.
Oh.
Jack is the original, the OG robot from Gears of War.
He's the OG, yeah.
So, Jack. The next question. What year did Ark Survival Evolve officially release? Alan, we're going to come to you first on this one. Actually, no, we're not. We'll come to you last, mate. Phil, Phil, what year did
year
Ark
did
Survival
Ark-
Evolved officially released?
Yeah,
So go on, Phil.
I've absolutely no clue, so I'm going to take a punt. I don't know, like 2015 maybe?
Okay,
Or
2015,
maybe that's
okay.
when it was in beta. I'm not sure.
Jules?
I'm sorry I was building a hut there. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just Googling the answer. Give me a moment.
I was just building the fence, mate. I have no idea, mate.
Do you want to
They
give me
come out in like 20 end of start of 2018,
2018, okay.
2017. I don't know.
2018, I'm taking your first answer, 2018. So,
Go on, yeah.
Alan, because at the minute you're just guessing all the different dates. So, Alan, do you want to give us a date?
I can give you the exact date.
Go on,
like
I know exactly what day it was because I was waiting for it.
Hit me with it, big boy.
It was the 2nd of June, 2015.
So do I get a point for that and he gets 1.5 or?
So, hold on. So Phil said 2015, Jules said 2018, and Alan said 2015, correct?
That's correct. 2nd of June.
So the official release date for Ark Survival Evolved is 2017. It went into early access in 2015, but it wasn't officially released until 2017.
You didn't say officially released when you asked the question. You said, when was it released?
I said officially released, sir.
Oh dear.
So no points for that one, I'm afraid, people. But at least that'll stop Alan complaining that he never gets any Ark Survival Evolved questions on the podcast. So this one's a multiple choice for you guys, okay? After formatting and OS installation, how much usable space is reported to be available on the Xbox Series X SSD? Is it A, 802 gigabytes, B, 805 gigabytes, or C, 822 gigabytes? And we'll go to Jules first on this one.
805.
805, okay. Alan?
802.
802. And Phil?
I seem to recall 802 as well.
So the correct answer is 802. So that's a point to both Alan and Phil. Sorry, Jules.
That's right. Don't worry about it. We're not friends anymore.
It's okay, I wasn't that sorry anyway, so it's all right. We're all good, mate. We're all good. Right.
Well, because they're free.
This one here, we're going through. So,
Three's a magic number.
wow. In Star Wars A New Hope, what red call sign is Wedge Antilles? So we'll go to Alan first.
Red 2.
Okay, red 2. We'll go with Jules.
Red 4.
Red 4. Okay, and Phil?
I seem to think he was red 2 as well.
Wow. He was red 2.
Ooh!
So look at that.
I was thinking something else about it said that, and I was like,
I got a Star Wars question right. I am so pleased with myself.
Okay, so next question. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is the title of the upcoming Ghostbusters sequel?
Oh, it's.
Right, we'll start with Jules.
I have no idea. Ghostbusters: The Return.
Okay, Ghostbusters: The Return.
I don't know. I don't know.
Alan?
I'm not sure, actually. I think something like Ghostbusters Legacy.
Okay, and Phil?
I'm quietly confident it was called Ghostbusters Afterlife.
The correct answer is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So,
That's
well
a
done,
rubbish
Phil.
title.
it was one of the swath of films that got delayed that caused,
Yeah.
Was it like Cineworlds to be going into hibernation and stuff? I remember.
Yeah,
that
it's a
was
bit of
mentioned,
a downer, that one. But yeah,
along with the Bond movie and Top
Yeah.
Gun.
so many films I was looking forward to have been like smashed in the teeth because of all this. But never mind, there'll be times they'll come again, as they say. So next question, question number 8. This is in fact, what movie has the following line in it? Yogurt. I hate yogurt, even with strawberries. And we'll go to Alan first on this one.
I haven't got a pig in clue. I'm going to go with something completely rubbish, Dumber and Dumber, because it isn't in that, but I really don't know.
Okay. Jules?
Pete, I don't know. The Matrix.
Okay. Phil?
I haven't got Scooby-Doo, mate.
Do you want to take a guess?
The faintest clue.
I'm disappointed if any of you guys get this. I have to say I'm terribly disappointed.
Yeah, no clue.
So
I don't even have a decent guess.
You're not even going to have a guess. Not even going to take a blind stab at it.
The Crying Game.
Akira.
Back to the Future.
Okay, Back to the Future, Phil. So the correct answer is. I'm just imagining it knowing this line and you saying the crying game, where this line comes from and how it's delivered. I'm like,
oh my god! I'm so sorry.
Unreal. So the line "Yogurt, I hate yogurt, even with strawberries" is from Spaceballs.
Oh my god, Spaceballs! That's brilliant! Oh, Spaceballs is a giant Hoover!
Around this in a giant desert style.
Oh, that is the best!
In the crying game, I'm like, I just can't. All I can see is
Big Helmet Man.
delivering that, and I'm like, no, this is terrible. But anyway, moving on from that disaster. I can't even get the word out. Right. So, next question. Everyone, compose yourself. Are you ready? Very serious one, this. Which video game character did Timothy Oliphant bring to life in the big screen in 2007? And we'll go to Jules on the first one.
Was it by any chance Agent 47?
Okay, and Phil?
Agent 47 from Hitman.
And Alan?
Sheriff Bullet. No, Agent 47.
It was indeed Agent 47, so a point around. Now, there is a bonus point on this one. And I'm trying to think how we can do this. I was going to say, shall I do a fastest finger first? So we'll just go with names. You can call out your name, and whoever gets this is going to be the first one to get in. So just call your name out, boys. Nothing special. And we're going to go fastest finger first on this one. For a bonus point, can you name who replaced him in the sequel?
Jules.
I can't name him, but I know what he looks like.
Well, that's not what the question was, Jules.
Wait.
Entirely wrong.
He's got a barcode on the back of his head and he's bald. But I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay, I'm going to rush it.
Bob.
No, it's not Bob. Anyone else want to jump in on that?
Was it Carl Urban?
No, it wasn't Carl Urban. Phil, you've got one last shot at it if you want.
Oh, I can picture the guy's face, but I can't think of his name.
No bonus points to be awarded then. It's Rupert Friend.
There we go.
Friend. There you go.
Oh yeah, there's an actor I've heard a lot of. Yeah, Rupert Friend. Very
big stuff. He's into fairly big stuff. There you go. Anyway, next question. In Mass Effect 2, we are introduced to Subject Zero. What other name do they go by? And we'll start with Alan.
I don't know. Haven't got a clue. I pass.
Subject
No.
Zero.
I don't know what I'd guess as, to be honest. I don't know. I've got no idea what they would be called. They would be called anything. The Squiddly Pigs.
The Squiddly Pigs from Alan. Phil?
Jack. He was called
Okay.
Jack.
Jules?
I'm going to go with what Phil said.
Going to go with Jack.
Yeah.
Not Alan's Squiddly Pigs. You sure you don't want to go with Squiddly Pigs?
I'm pretty sure they're not called Squiggly Pigs, mate.
Okay.
Whatever Alan said. Sorry, Alan. I'm going to side with Phil here.
So the correct answer, Subject Zero's actual name is Jack.
Nice film.
I played that game enough.
Yeah, cheers for that point, Phil.
Way too much.
Okay, this one's a little bit nerdy, but we'll see how we go. What powers the core of a lightsaber? And we'll go with Jules first.
Kyber crystal.
Alan?
Same crystal.
What? Same crystal?
No, same as Jules, the crystal. I don't know what it's called.
It's a kyber crystal.
There you go.
It's a crystal.
And Phil?
Yeah, it's a Kyber crystal.
So I'm going to give Alan half a point for knowing it was a crystal, and everyone else gets a full point for the Kyber crystal. But well played, people. Bonus here, and I'll give this on a fastest fingers. Just shout your name out, boys. All right. This is a bonus question on that subject. Which planet do the Jedi harvest these crystals from?
Oh God, that was in the New Order, wasn't it? Oh.
Phil,
go for it.
oh, was it Ilum or something like that, or
Right,
Ilium?
point to Phil.
Yeah, nice.
Which is it there? Look.
Yeah, it was that ice plant, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
aluminum, illuminate, wasn't it? Like
It's
it was
also
like
in Rogue One as well. It's quite a few of the games, to be fair. So yeah, that makes a point of that. Yeah, cool. Happy days. I think it features quite heavily in the animated series, which names just completely disappeared out of my head. Clone Wars. I think it's in the Clone Wars as well. Yeah. So yeah. Cool. So this is question number 12. Okay, guys. In Ark Survival Evolved, how many creatures have been officially released? No, announced. Sorry. My bad. So we'll start with
Alan.
We'll start with Alan. If it wasn't the fastest finger, we'll start with Alan. Alan, go for it.
176.
Okay, Jules.
174.
We'll go. Okay, we'll go with the closest as well. I should say. So 174, 176, and Phil.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, I'm just going to go with Alan because he's obsessed with this. So I'm going to go 176. So hopefully Alan's, going to make up for his earlier failure.
So
question right for me.
So
do not get me started, Thompson.
We'll go with closest to the bone because it's one of those like things. So officially announced, there are 501. Currently available, there are 500 creatures in the game.
Okay.
It might be there's maybe it's dinosaurs or 100 and something. Alan, I'm not sure, but there's 501 official creatures in the game.
So if I'd said 177, I'd have stolen the point from him.
Yeah, do you know what I have to say to that? I have to say, in the grand words of Wimplo, I am bleeding, making me the victor.
Right, so there we go. Here's one for you then, boys. We're on question number 13. Everyone ready?
Question 13. Ooh,
question number 13. How many rounds does the assault rifle hold in Halo Combat Evolved? So we'll go to Jules first and foremost.
60.
Okay, we'll go to Phil.
48.
And we'll go to Alan.
60.
That will be a point to Alan and Jules. It is indeed 60.
Boom! And that's why
you 48 in my head then.
And you were thinking of the not the assault rifle, but the battle rifle.
Yeah. And I think to be fair, there might be different rounds in different Halos. I think Halo Combat Evolved is 60, but it might be.
It's 60. I think the battle rifle was around about that. Yeah, it's less anyway.
Yeah, so definitely it's less because it hits harder. Balancing. Right, guys. So, in Assassin's Creed, what is the name of the character that is reliving the memories of Altair? And we'll go to Phil first.
Oh, God. Desmond Miles?
Okay. Alan?
I think.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please, Chris?
Yes, in Assassin's Creed, what is the name of the character that is reliving the memories of Altair?
Desmond.
Okay. And Jules?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Desmond as well. I can't remember what his second... Was it Desmond Azir or something like that, mate? Oh, I don't know. I know it's Desmond. But yeah...
Everyone, it is indeed Desmond. Officially, Phil would get like the full score because it is Desmond Miles, but we'll give Desmond to everyone. So that's all good. Right. So, congratulations. Right. So this is a closest to the one. This is your final question, guys. And I'll give you a clue of how close it is. It's all to play for. So to give you the current standing on the scores, Alan is on 7.5. Phil is on 7.5, and Jules is on 7. So this can literally go to anyone at this point. Okay.
Tension. It's almost palpable.
So you have to listen to the question relatively carefully, but it will be a closest to the number gets the point. All right. So 2 standard 4x2 Lego bricks can be connected in 24 different arrangements. 3 of these bricks can be connected in 1,060 different ways. How many different ways can you connect 6 of these bricks? So we'll go to Jules first.
275.
Well, I'm going to give you a second to just rethink that because there are 1,060 ways.
I have no idea.
So there are 1,060 ways you can connect 3 of them, and there are 6 of them now. So how many ways could you do it?
Quick maths, bruv. 275. I don't know.
Okay, 275 we'll go with. Phil?
Oh, it's going to be something ridiculous. Like, I don't know.
4,000.
No, like, I don't know, 10, 20 million or something stupid like that.
Okay.
It's Lego bricks, man.
Okay. And Alan, what are you going to go with, sir?
What was the number for 3 bricks?
So 2 bricks, there are 24 different arrangements, and 3 bricks is 1,060 different arrangements.
Okay, so carry the 7, square that by the 2, and then divide by the overall the medium, and then add the integer. That's I don't have a freaking clue. 126,000 combinations.
So we're going to run through this again. We'll take Jules at 4,000 because he said that a bit later. At least it makes some logical sense. Phil, you what were you again? Sorry to remind me.
I was like 10 million.
Your guess.
That's a lot of Lego, man.
Yeah.
If it's somewhere in between the 4 or 5
I mean, I
million
want
mark,
more Lego.
he's got a lot of adding up to do, Chris.
So are you guys ready for how many different combinations you can make with 6 4x2 Lego bricks?
Probably a billion or something, isn't it?
The exact number you can make. Well, not the exact number, but the number there is available. In fact, it might be the exact number. Is 915 million different combinations of combining those bricks.
Wow.
Damn, I wasn't even close, and I was taking a pie in the sky guess.
Yep, it's a mental
Right, I was
number.
closest.
So Phil gets the point because he was closest, which means that with a score of 8.5 points, Phil is going to be this week's winner, followed with Alan on 7.5 and Jules on 7. So well played, everyone. That was a great round, Phil.
I got a point. Oh, I'm so happy.
Alan can stop complaining about there being no Ark Survival Evolved questions anymore. He could just moan at me about the answers that I had. Like I'll moan about him about the Mass Effect questions he gave me. And so starts the blood feud.
All I'm going to say at this point is please go on to Google and type how many creatures are there in Ark and tell me if it says 500.
Go to the wiki page, mate, and see how many are officially announced for it.
Look, chaps, there's only one way to solve this. Once we get the video podcast up and running, it's first blood from the torso with swords.
Yeah, I did pull all the information on Ark from the wiki for Ark, to be fair. So
it's all in good fun, chaps. It's all in good
if
fun.
the wiki is wrong, just FYI, that means someone's been altering the wiki to be a tool. Not that wikis are exactly the most reliable source of information that there are on this planet. I will give you that. But, you know,
yeah, because I play it a lot, and I'm fairly sure there aren't 500 dinosaurs in it. I would have noticed. That's quite a big difference.
The thing is, it says creatures. They say creatures, not dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So it probably counts bugs and all sorts of crap as well.
But like I say, it's just a bit of fun, lads. I take my second place for the second week running.
It was
gracefully.
To be fair, that went to the wire, and I'm quite impressed that you got as many as you did. Because some of them were real idiot questions. To be fair. You know, so I'm just that guy who likes to pull silly things out of their backside. But yeah. Well, anyway, that's my quiz done. And that's the podcast done, I feel, boys.
Hey. Yeah, thanks for Jules for joining us this week, adding a little bit of difference to our podcast. Thank you, mate.
We made it through a week without Craig to hold our hands. It must mean we're proper grown-ups, boys.
I miss him.
Steady on, mate. Steady on. Yeah.
So you have no idea how much I miss him. Doing this all on my own has been a scary experience.
No, you've done a good job, Chris. You've done a good job, mate.
We'll kidnap him and duct tape him to his chair.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting away with it again. I agree with that, Phil. There's no way he's getting away with this again. He's not getting away with it. Simple as that. I won't have it. Right. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Does everyone else want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Au revoir, sweeties. Till next time.
Till next time. Peace out, people. Have fun.